Okay. I guess I'm not participating.
Oh, no, you're busy. All right, let's see. Woohoo! Yay! Yes. And I sent it to everyone who's in the Zoom call, Lauren, because Lauren and I did some tech testing and we did not find a good way to mesh Zoom sound and Molly audio together. So the playlist is optional. If you want it, it is just for y'all. Absolutely. Excellent. Thanks so much, Lauren. Well, shout out to Lauren. We were in the same yoga teacher training cohort. Like she said, she's been raising money for Habitat for Humanity for weeks. She did a 24-hour virtual thing that was unbelievable and crazy. Avanda, who's also on the call, also from our yoga teacher training class, did at least one, if not two classes for HABITHON. So welcome, welcome. Let's go ahead and get started, everyone. You can have your cameras on if you want. If you don't, that's totally okay. I notice all of you have yourselves muted. Excellent, amazing. Zoom etiquette, it's almost like we've been doing this for months. But if at any point you can't hear or you lose audio, visual, or whatever, leave and come back. We'll be here. So let's go ahead and get started on our backs. So if you guys want to push play on your playlist, now's the time. If you want to do this in silence just with my voice, that's awesome too. Now's the time. So make sure your space is clear. Make sure your space is ready for you. We have a few options as we get started. You can bring the soles of your feet to touch and lay back, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. And if that is a little too intense for your hips today, you can take your feet wide, the width of your mat, and just let your knees knock together, which is a little bit easier on our hips. So start wherever feels comfortable for you. And just start to bring your attention to your breathing. It's Friday night. You made it through the week. You made it to tonight. And so here we are. We're on our mats. For the next hour, our universe is the four corners of our mat, our dogs, our cats, our friends, and just what's happening around us. Start to notice the length of your breath, stretching out your exhalation perhaps a little bit longer and more intentionally than you usually do. Today, I'll be giving some breathing cues. You're welcome to take them as they serve you. And if you find them a little distracting, that's okay too. You can focus on whatever feels the best for you today. We'll stay here for a few more gentle rounds of breath. A very happy Friday night to all of you. We're so glad that you've joined us here. If you're on your back in Supta Baddha Konasana, bring your hands outside your thighs and gently bring your knees together, closing your legs like you're closing a book. Both feet are flat on the floor, knees are pointed towards the sky, and bring your hands behind the back of your thighs, giving yourself a little squeeze, a little hug, and we're gonna gently start to rock along our spine. Slow at first, a little bit more energetically, gathering a little bit of momentum to come up to seated. Go ahead and roll on over your knees and come into a tabletop position. However you get there, whatever is comfortable for you. Your toes can be tucked, or you can release your toes so the tops of your feet are flat on the mat. Go ahead and spread all 10 fingers wide, gripping the mat with the pad of each fingertip. Bring your spine into neutral and point the crown of your head towards the front of your mat and think about lengthening through your tailbone at the back of your mat. We're going to start with a few gentle rounds of cat-cow, starting to warm up our spine and matching our breath to our movement. Inhale, drop your belly, shine your heart forward. Exhale, rounding through your spine, drawing your navel up and through your spine. Inhale, tummy drops, gaze shifts up. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Move through a few more rounds of this at your own pace, bringing in any other gentle movement you'd like, perhaps a little hip circles, perhaps some forward and back motion, perhaps slightly more exaggeration as we articulate our spine and start to warm up. One more round. When you're ready, return to a neutral tabletop. Check the alignment of your wrist, elbow, and shoulder, stacking everything all in one straight, long, strong, long line. Inhale, lifting your right hand into the air, fingertips pointing to the front of your space, energy shooting out of your fingers. And when you're ready, lift your left foot up as well. Coming into a bird dog. Grip the mat with your left hand, lift your left heel a little higher, and if you feel a little unbalanced, square your hips and settle into your mat. Think about lengthening from fingertips through heel, reaching from the front of your mat all the way through your back. One straight, long line. Inhale, reaching your fingertips a little further, pressing your heel further back. Exhale, your hand to the mat, release. Reset everything. We prepare to do the same on the other side. Inhale, left fingertips reaching to the front. Square up here, brace your abs. When you're ready, lift your right heel into the air. Opposite hand, opposite foot. Again, energy from your fingertips all the way through your right heel. Focus on lengthening here, reaching, stretching from the front of your space to the back. Toes curl towards your kneecaps, heel pushes to the back of your mat, and your fingertips reach out, perhaps a little further. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, release. Everything comes back to the mat. All right. We're going to fire up our abs. So go ahead and curl under your toes. Make sure all 10 fingers are spread wide. Inhale and hover your knees up off the mat, just 1 inch. Still in tabletop. Starting to feel those abs fire up and engage. Squeezing through your shoulders, through your upper back. One more round of breath. Exhale, knees release. Lauren asked how energetic this flow was going to be. Here's a little teaser. One more little round of ab work. Inhale, squeeze, engage everything, and lift your knees 1 inch off the mat. Coming into a tabletop hover. Ground down, grip your mat with your fingers, with your toes, brace your abs. Exhale, everything releases. Marvelous. Move your hands one handprint in front of where they were. Curl your toes under and lift your hips up and back into the air, coming into our first down dog. Your feet are spread about hip distance apart. Heels are pressing towards the mat, but it's okay if they don't quite reach. Soften your knees to lift your hips just a little bit higher and make sure all 10 fingers are spread wide. Pedal out your feet, take any movement that you'd like, and when you're ready, come into a little bit of stillness. Soften your knees to lift your hips a little bit higher, finding that comfortable inverted V. If you find yourself holding your breath here, remember to exhale and release. Shift your gaze forward between your hands and gently walk to the top of your mat. Soft knees, coming into a forward fold. The crown of your head hangs heavy down towards your mat. Your hands can touch the mat or perhaps not. Soften your knees and lay your belly on your thighs. Finding a nice, easy stretch here through the back of our legs, through our hamstrings. Just let your head hang heavy. Coming into a comfortable forward fold. Inhale and start to slowly roll up to standing, one vertebra at a time, slow and controlled. The last thing that lifts up is your head. Coming into Tadasana pose at the top of your mat. Your big toes touch, our chest is lifted, hands facing forward at our sides, energy shooting out of all 10 fingertips. I invite you to close your eyes here if you'd like, or to soften your gaze, and to think about an intention you'd like to set for your practice. An intention can be a dedication to a person. It can be something that you want to amplify in your own life. It can be a feeling that you want to take forward into the rest of the night, the rest of the weekend, the rest of the year. Take a moment here to set an intention. Inhale, fingertips rise up and overhead, gaze shifts up, coming to meet at the sky. Take a gentle back bend here, reaching your hands up and perhaps a little back. Exhale, hands release down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, bring your hands to your shins or to your thighs. Find a nice straight back. Exhale, forward fold, hands come to the mat. Step back 1 foot at a time, coming into a high plank. You can bring your knees to the mat if you'd like, or you can keep your knees lifted. And we're gonna lower slowly all the way down to the mat. Everything releases. Release your toes to bring your feet flat on the mat. Hands right below your shoulders, elbows squeezing back, pushing towards the back of your space. Inhale, lift your chest, coming into a cobra, a little baby back bend here. Just a little lift up off the mat. Exhale, release. Push up through tabletop or perhaps into a high plank, coming back through to a down dog. Pedal out your feet if you'd like, or return to stillness. We're gonna start to move a little bit quicker, but for now, enjoy the slow, deliberate pace. Inhale, gaze lifts between your hands. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your hands up and overhead. Come to standing. Exhale, release all the way back to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step or hop back to high plank. This time, lower halfway or all the way. Lower, coming into a back bend. It can be a cobra or an up dog. Exhale, shifting your hips back, returning to down dog. Starting to feel a little bit of warmth, a little bit of movement. Gaze shifts between your hands, soften your knees, travel to the front of your space. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your hands up and overhead, coming into standing. Exhale, sink your hips down and back, coming into chair pose. Knees are touching, thighs zipped up, hips sinking low and back. Fingertips reaching to the sky, or you can release your hands out in front of you. Grip the mat with all four corners of both your feet and squeeze your thighs together. Sink a little lower, feeling that fire, that energy starting to build. Exhale, forward fold, hands come down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands return to the mat. Step or hop back to high plank, moving through your vinyasa. Lowering halfway or all the way, coming into a back bend and shifting up and back into down dog. Inhale your right heel into the sky, coming into a three-legged dog, and pause here for just a moment. Curl your right toes towards your kneecap, lifting your heel a little higher and pointing both hip points down at the mat, squaring up your hips. Right foot travels forward to land between your two hands. Left heel spins down to the mat, and inhale, rising up into warrior one. Chest is to the front of your space, fingertips reaching to the sky, gentle bend in that front knee. Left foot pressing firmly into the mat. Build this posture from the ground up. Inhale, reach your fingertips to the sky, grow a little taller. Release your hands to come behind your back. You can interlace your fingers or grab opposite elbows, whatever feels most comfortable to you. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, bring your chest forward to come into humble warrior. Right shoulder coming inside right knee. If your hands are bound behind your back, squeeze your hands together, drawing your shoulder blades together. Keep that bend in your right knee. Squeeze your right knee into midline. One more round of breath here. Release the bind. Inhale, rise back up into warrior one. Fingertips reach into the sky. Inhale, reach. Exhale, open up into warrior two. Back foot spins down to become parallel to the back of our mat. Fingertips reaching in opposite directions. Keeping that gentle bend in your right knee, perhaps a little bit deeper bend now. Bring your gaze over your right middle finger. Draw your shoulder blades together in the back and lift your chest, standing tall. Think about energy shooting out of all 10 fingers in opposite directions. Flip your right hand up to the sky. Inhale, reversing your warrior. Right hand reaches up and over your head. Left hand drops down your left thigh. Feel the stretch from fingertips all the way down your right side body. If you want to wrap your left hand around your lower back, reaching for your right hip pocket to find that gentle half bind, go for it. Keep that bend in your right knee and don't forget to breathe. One more round of breath here. come back into warrior two, keeping that bend in our front leg. Marvelous work. Reset this posture. Grip the mat with all 10 toes, both heels. Feeling a little bit of heat in both our legs. Gently straighten your right leg, heel toe your back foot in, 1, 2 times, narrowing our stance, preparing for triangle pose. Arms are still reaching in opposite directions. Both legs are straight, knees not locked out. And gently start to hinge forward at your hips, reaching your right hand to the front of your space. When you're ready, release that right hand down to your foot, your shin, the mat. Perhaps you have a block, wherever your right hand needs to be. Turn your chest to the left side of your mat, gaze coming to your left fingertips if it feels right for you. Starting to feel our abs engage here. If you'd like to power this posture up a little bit, lift your right hand into the air, coming into a power triangle. Now we really feel our obliques. 1 round of breath here. Grab a hook in the sky, come to standing. Marvelous work. All right, we're gonna play a little bit with balance here. So adjust anything you need to. Step your left foot in 1 or 2 more times, bringing our weight onto our right foot. Turn your body to the front of your space as we come into a standing split. Both hands come down to the ground. Left foot lifts into the air. All our weight on our right foot. Right leg supporting us. You can tent your fingertips. You can put your palms flat on the mat. Let the crown of your head point down towards the mat. And if you'd like to play with balance, perhaps you bring one hand to your ankle, perhaps you bring both. Feel the power and the strength in your right leg. And feel the engagement through your left leg. One more round of breath here. Exhale, left foot releases to the mat. Pedal out those legs. Release any tension here. We're gonna come into a forward fold variation. So bring your feet hip distance apart as if 2 fists could fit right between your feet. And we have a few options here. You can bring opposite hand to opposite elbow, coming into ragdoll, gently swaying side to side. Or you can bring your hands to the back of your head to provide a little gentle pressure. Whatever feels comfortable for you, find a nice forward fold release here. Soften your knees to bring your chest a little closer to your thighs and see if you feel the posture, the stretch in a slightly different way. Release your hands to the mat. Bring your toes back to touching. Exhale, release everything. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Step or hop back to high plank, moving from high to low through your vinyasa. Coming into a back bend, up dog, and shifting your hips up and back, returning to down dog. Perhaps this down dog feels a little different now. Perhaps your heels drop a little closer to the earth, or you soften your knees a little more, taking whatever serves you. Inhale, lifting your left heel into the sky, coming into 3-legged dog on our other side. Pause here for a moment. Curl your left toes towards your knee. Lift your left heel up into the air and point both hip points down at your mat, squaring your hips off. Gaze comes forward, left foot travels to come to the mat between our hands. Right foot spins down, inhale and rise up into warrior one on the other side. Take a moment here to make sure you have a strong foundation. If you feel a little unsteady, bring your feet a little wider apart. And remember, right toes pointed towards the upper right corner of our mat. Fingertips reach into the sky, chest squared to the front of our space. Find a slightly deeper bend in that left knee. Release your hands behind your back. If you'd like to interlace your fingers, take the interlaced fingers with your uncomfortable thumb on top. If you'd like to grab opposite elbows, lifting your chest and shining your heart. Inhale and come into humble warrior. Bringing your shoulder to your left knee or inside your left knee. Chest coming closer to the ground. Feeling that stretch all along the back of our right leg and the strength in that bend in our left. Release your hands. Inhale, rise back up into warrior one. Marvelous. Reach to the sky, draw in air. Exhale, open up into warrior two on our other side. Right foot spins down to come parallel to the back of our mat. Again, generous bend in that left leg. Fingertips reaching in opposite directions, lifting your chest, drawing your shoulder blades together. Bring your gaze over your left middle finger and settle in here for just a moment. Flip your left hand to face the sky. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left fingertips reaching up and over your head. Right hand dropping down your back thigh. If you took a half bind on the other side and you'd like to take it here, wrap your right arm around your lower back, reaching for your left hip pocket. Feel the stretch from fingertips all the way down your side body. Inhale, rise back up to warrior two. Take another moment to enjoy one more round of breath here. Straighten your left leg, heel toe your back foot in 1, 2 times to narrow our stance as we prepare to come into triangle on this side. Fingertips reaching out, tip at the hips, reaching your left hand forward, reaching. When you're ready, release your left hand to your foot or to the mat, and right hand comes into the sky. If your left hand doesn't quite reach the mat, your shin is a great place, a block is a good place, whatever feels comfortable for you. If you'd like to bring your gaze to your right fingertips, go ahead and look up at that hand. If a power triangle is calling you tonight, lift your left hand up off of whatever it was touching to hover, reaching to the front of your space. Turning your chest open, hands reaching in opposite directions. One more moment of strength. Grab a hook in the sky, rise back up to standing. Excellent work. We prepare to shift onto our left foot, right foot steps forward once or twice. Hands come to the mat, coming into standing split on our other side. Right heel reaches into the sky, right toes curl towards our knee. Left foot grips the mat with all 5 fingers, the ball of your foot through the heel. Fingertips can be tented or palms flat on the mat, laying your chest on top of your thigh. If you'd like to play with balance, perhaps one or both hands come to your ankle. If you'd like a slightly deeper fold, bring your forehead a little closer to your knee. One more round of breath. You are so strong here. Exhale, right foot comes to the mat. Release, pedal out those feet. Let any tension come out of both legs. All right, bring your feet hip distance apart, again, as if two fists could fit between your feet, and we'll come into another forward fold variation. If you tried something last time that you really liked and you want to take it again, go for it. If you'd like to try something a little different, you can wrap your arms around the back of your calves, or you can bring your hands under your feet, coming into Padahastasana. Toes coming towards your wrist crease, gently laying the palm of your hand flat against the sole of your foot. Wherever you are in your forward fold, soften your knees and feel a gentle stretch through the back of your legs, letting the crown of your head hang heavy towards the mat. One more round of breath. Release your hands back to the mat. Bring your big toes to touch. Exhale, fold and release everything. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step or hop back to high plank, moving through your vinyasa. When you're ready, returning to your downward facing dog. If you'd like to bring your knees to the mat here, this is a good place for child's pose. If you'd like to get water or a towel here, this is a good place for a little break. If you're in down dog and you'd like a little bit of extra fire, you can bring your forearms to the mat, coming into a dolphin pose. Fingertips are spread wide, and think about gently walking your toes a little closer to your arms to stack your hips up and over your shoulders. Wherever you are, whatever choice you've made now, we'll take 3 rounds of breath here. If you're in child's pose, your knees are the width of your mat, your toes are touching at the back, hands are reaching out to the front, forehead gently releases to the mat. Although this is a recovery posture, there's still lots of energy in our hands and lengthening of our spine from crown through tailbone. Wherever you are, gently return to downward facing dog. If you brought your forearms to the mat, lift back up. If your knees are on the mat, shift your hips up and back, returning to down dog. Inhale, right heel lifts into the sky. Exhale, right foot steps forward, coming into a low lunge, foot between our hands, both toes facing the front of our mat. Our feet are on railroad tracks here, not a tight wire. Fingertips can be tented. Push energetically back through that left heel to feel the entire back of your left leg engage. Inhale, rise up into a high lunge. You can drop your back knee if that's a little bit too much fire, or you can keep your left knee lifted. Gaze out in front, or lift your gaze up to the ceiling between your hands. This brings a little gentle back bend. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, open into a twist, looking back over your right shoulder, fingertips reaching out from the front to back of your space. Feeling that fire, feeling the stability from our mat to our feet. Again, You can always drop your left knee if you want a little bit of stability, or keep that left knee lifted. Knees over your right shoulder. One more cycle of breath. Inhale, sweep your right arm up to the sky, returning to a high lunge. Exhale, opening out into warrior two. Left foot drops down to the back of our mat. Just gonna switch so you guys can see me. Fingertips pointing to the front. We've been here before. We love this. We know what this feels like. Bend in that right knee, perhaps a little deeper this time. Fingertips reaching out, stretching through your space. Straighten your right leg. Turn your right toes in so that both of your toes are facing in towards the middle of your mat. Exaggerate it a little bit to help you grip. Arms reaching out as we prepare to come into a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold over. Hands come to the mat. Your feet can be as close together or as far apart as feels comfortable for you. All variations welcome here. Hands to the mat. Crown of your head hangs heavy. You can bring your hands outside your feet if you'd like, or have them right under your face. If a headstand is in your practice, or you'd like to play around with getting the crown of your head a little closer to your mat, go for it. Take whatever serves you here. Inhale, come into a halfway lift. Hands are flat on the mat. Bring your left hand right under your face to the center of your mat and bring your right arm straight out to your side like an airplane here. Inhale and twist, reaching that right hand up to the sky, twisting through your midline. Gaze comes up and over your right shoulder, searching for those right fingertips. Feeling this twist as deep or as gentle as you'd like. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, hand returns to the mat. Set up for the other side. Bring your right hand right under your face. Left hand comes out straight to our side like an airplane. Inhale, reach for the sky. Find that gentle twist. Left hand reaching up through the air. Gaze comes over our left shoulder. Right hand firm on the ground, trusting that it's going to support us. Inhale, reach those fingertips into the air. Exhale, fold. Both hands return back to the mat. Bring your hands to your hip pockets. Inhale and rise up with a straight back, returning to standing. Now, you can step your feet into the center one at a time, or you can hop to bring your feet together right underneath you. We return to Tadasana here. Big toes touching, hands at our sides, palms pointed towards the front of our space. We're going to play with a little bit of balance. So slowly start to shift your weight onto your right leg, left knee softening, bending. We're coming into tree posture. We have lots of options here. You can kickstand your left foot right at your ankle. You can bring your left foot to the inside of your calf, or you can bring your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Wherever your tree pose is, bring your left foot to a comfortable place. And you can keep your hands out to the side for balance. Bring them together in heart center for a little bit of centering, a little bit of grounding. If you'd like to reach your fingertips up and overhead to grow branches to your tree, go for it. Wherever you feel comfortable in your tree posture, find that variation that speaks to you. Think about gently rotating out through your left hip, opening up your hip, bringing your left knee a little further out to the side. If your fingertips are reaching to the sky, grow tall from root through branches. Bring your hands to heart center here. Gently release your left leg, coming into a one-legged Tadasana. As if your left foot is stamped on the floor, 90-degree bend in our knee. I'll show you what it looks like from the side. Ground down through that right foot, hands at heart center. As we gently start to bring our chest forward, kicking our left foot back, coming into warrior three. Still on our right leg. Left foot stamps on the imaginary wall behind us. Chest comes parallel to the ground. You can release your arms to airplane arms, reaching out, fingertips wide, or forward to the front of your space, finding length from fingertips to toes. One more round of breath here. If you touch your toes down and you want to lift back up, go for it. Inhale, extend. Exhale, left foot comes to the mat. We made it. Shake out those legs. Marvelous work. We are so strong. Toes return to touching. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or hop back to your high plank, moving through your vinyasa here. Whatever variation speaks to you. Returning to meet in downward dog. Starting to feel a little bit of heat. Let's find that fire in our other side. Inhale, left foot into the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, left foot steps forward between your hands, coming into a low lunge. Again, fingertips can be tented, your palms can be flat on the mat. Back knee can drop as well, whatever feels comfortable to you. Press through your right heel, grip the mat with the right ball of your foot. Inhale, rise up into a high lunge. Both sets of toes pointed towards the front of our mat. All 10 fingers reaching to the sky. Right knee can come to the mat if you'd like, or stay lifted. Inhale, reach. Exhale, twist over your left shoulder. Fingertips from the front to the back of the mat, twisting across your midline. Gaze comes over left shoulder if that feels right for you. A moment of fire, a moment of trust in your feet. Inhale, sweep your left hand up to the sky. Exhale, opening up into warrior two on our other side. Right foot spins down to touch the back of the mat. Left leg is to our front. Gently straighten your left leg and bring both sets of toes reaching out, both heels reaching in. We're preparing for goddess pose. Bring your hands to the sky. Everything is straight. Everything is reaching, coming into star posture. Exhale, hips sit down and back, coming into goddess. You can be as high or as low as you'd like. Elbows at 90 degrees, chest is lifted, shoulder blades draw together in the back. Perhaps you find a little motion from side to side. Perhaps you find stillness. Think about squeezing your shoulder blades together in the back, lifting your chest, and finding length from crown to tailbone. Inhale, straighten everything. Reach for the sky. Exhale, return to goddess. Perhaps you sink a little deeper this time. Perhaps you bring your hands to heart center. You might even close your eyes here for a moment of stillness. If you're holding your breath, gently release. One more cycle of breath. Inhale, straighten everything, reach for the sky. Feel that release. Again, Option to step your feet together in the center, one at a time, or hop together, coming back into Tadasana. Big toes touch, fingers, hands out to our side. This is how we started our practice, and feel how different we feel now. Come into balanced postures on our other side. Start to firm up your left leg, soften your right knee, and when you're ready, come into tree pose. Again, right foot can be kickstand at your heel, at your calf, or coming into the inside of your left thigh, wherever feels right for you. Right knee turning out, a little bit of external rotation through our hips, hands out to our sides, at heart center, or fingertips reaching up to the sky, growing branches. Now every posture feels a little different on our other side. Take a moment here to notice what feels different for you, or perhaps what feels the same. Grip the mat with your left foot, root down. If your branches are in the air, grow a little taller. One more cycle of breath. Release your right foot, coming into one-legged Tadasana. Hands come to heart center. Right toes curled up as if you're stamping your foot in the air. Right thigh parallel to the ground, 90 degrees in our right knee. As we gently prepare to kick your right foot back and bring your chest forward, coming into warrior three on our other side. Bring your chest parallel to the mat. Square your hips up, both hip points pointing down at the ground. Perhaps you want to play with your hands, coming into airplane arms, or reaching your fingertips forward to the front of your space. Wherever you are, find that stability, find that strength. Gently, with control, return to standing. Release your right leg down to the mat. Pedal out both feet. We did it. We made it. Fingertips rise up and overhead. Inhale. Exhale. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or hop back into high plank. Moving through vinyasa of your choice. Returning to down dog. If you'd like to release your knees to the mat here to take child's pose, I offer you a variation. You can bring your knees together this time, toes touching at the back. Bringing your hands around to the palms of your feet and your forehead to the mat. This releases a little bit of tension in our lower back. And if you sit at a computer all day, this might feel pretty good. If you'd prefer to be in down dog, perhaps you return to dolphin arms, to a little bit of variation, whatever feels right for you. This is a part of our practice where we start to slow down. If you're in down dog, gently bring your knees to the mat. If you're in child's pose, gently come to a seated posture. We're going to come down to the mat, so release your feet. Swing your feet out in front of you. Bring your bum to sit on the mat. And gently, gently, whatever you need to do to bring your sits bones down to actually make contact with the earth, go ahead and do that. Both feet stand flat on the ground, knees together, pointed up towards the sky. A little bit of energy in our thighs. We're preparing for boat pose. Lift your chest, collarbone shine, shoulder blades draw together in the back, sit nice and tall. Your hands can be close to your knees, or brought out a little further to your sides, palms up to the sky, Perhaps you lift one foot, perhaps you lift two, rocking back to come into a boat pose here. Nice straight back, straight spine. Lift your collarbones, shine your heart, and engage your abs. Inhale, exhale, come into a low boat, hold. Inhale, squeeze, high boat. Exhale, lower, hold. One more time. Inhale, squeeze, exhale, lower, all the way down to the mat. We made it. Gently draw your knees into your chest, perhaps a little side to side rocking, a little lower back massage. Release any tension in our lower back. Give yourself a little squeeze and release your feet to the mat. Both soles of your feet flat on the mat, knees pointed up to the sky. We're preparing to come into a bridge. Hands released to your sides, flat on the mat. Inhale, lift your hips up into the sky. Pressing down through your heels, engaging through the back of your legs, through your glutes. Shoulder blades flat on the mat. If you'd like to walk your hands together, bringing your shoulder blades under your body for a bind, go for it. If you're comfortable right where you are, grip the mat with your heels and lift your hips a little higher. Exhale, lower. Draw your knees into your chest for a little squeeze, a little gentle rock, side to side. We'll take one more back bend, just like that. You can take a bridge pose again, perhaps with a variation. If wheel is in your practice, I invite you to take a wheel here. If you'd like to take a wheel, you bring your hands flat to the mat, right by the sides of your head, elbows point to the sky. You inhale and lift up, lifting your trunk, your core, your hips into the sky, gripping the mat with your heels, knees squeezing together. Bridge pose. Remember to drive through your heels and gently lift your hips up off the mat. One more round of breath. Wheels start to release, bringing your shoulders to the mat first, gently lowering one vertebra at a time. Bridge, gentle release two, hips back to the mat. Knees come into our chest. This time wrap your arms around your shins and lift your shoulder blades up off the mat, coming into a slightly tighter ball. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little hug. Exhale, release everything, flat to the mat. We've got one round of twists as we continue to cool down. Bring your right knee in towards your right armpit. Fingertips wrap around your shin. Gentle squeeze, drawing your knee a little closer to your body. With your left hand, gently guide your right leg across your body. Right hand reaching out to the side, coming into a gentle supine twist. Release your right hand out, long, reaching out to the side. Your gaze can fall over your right shoulder if you'd like. Keep both shoulder blades flat on the mat, feeling the twist through your center. Inhale, right leg back to the center. Exhale, right foot kicks out, release. Other side. Inhale, left knee draws into the chest. Fingertips wrap around your shin, gently hugging your leg a little closer to your shoulder. With your right hand, guide your left leg across your trunk. Bring your left hand out to the side. And if you'd like to look over your left shoulder, bring your gaze towards your left fingertips. Gentle twist. Both shoulders flat on the mat. A little pressure with your right hand, but not a lot. Just a gentle touch. Inhale, left leg returns to center. Exhale, extend, everything releases. Our last posture here before we come into our final rest. If you'd like to take a happy baby, please join me. If you'd like to come into a shoulder stand, you know what to do. For a happy baby, bring both your knees into your armpits. Curl your toes as if you're stamping both feet flat on the ceiling, and bring your hands to grip the outside of both feet. Knees and feet are wide. Perhaps you gently rock side to side. Perhaps you're in stillness, just holding onto your feet and gently bringing your knees closer to your body. Take any last movements you'd like here. If you've come into a shoulder stand, take the counter posture in plow pose. Take any last movements here as we prepare to come into Shavasana. When you're ready, release both legs flat to the mat. Both hands at our sides. Palms of our hands facing up towards the sky. Gently let your feet fall open, releasing any tension in our legs. Everything relaxes here. Soften your face. Perhaps close your eyes. Relax your jaw. If your tongue is stuck on the roof of your mouth, go ahead and release it here. Everything relaxes. Come into stillness. Come into our final resting posture. I'll call you out of it when it's time. Shavasana. Start to bring gentle movements back into your wrists, back into your ankles, starting with a few slow circles as you gently, slowly start to reawaken your body. When you're ready, roll onto your left side, bring your knees into your chest, and pause here for a moment. Head resting on your bicep. Slowly, gently, as you're ready, come into a seated position. Perhaps your eyes are closed, perhaps your gaze is soft, whatever feels comfortable to you. Legs are gently crossed. You can rest the palms of your hands on top of your knees, or if you'd like, bring your hands together in heart center. Sit nice and tall. Lift the crown of your head towards the ceiling. One more time. If your hands are at heart center, gently bring your thumbs to your chest, your sternum. Inhale, exhale through the mouth. Let go of something. We'll do 2 more rounds of breath just like that. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, open mouth. Release. One more. Inhale. Let go of something from this week. Exhale. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your practice. I hope you take this feeling with you through the rest of your night, through the rest of your weekend. Namaste. Look who's got her hard hat back on. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the land of the living. Oh, good. We could have gone for longer, but I noticed it's Friday night.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you, Molly.
Thanks for your energy, everybody. And thank you for supporting HABITHON. Wonderful. Thanks for joining, everybody. It's so good to see all your shining faces. Lauren, you're amazing. Lauren raised $10,000 for Habitat for Humanity and their COVID response. Big ups, big shout outs. So thank you everyone for your contribution and thank you for joining us. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, hello to Facebook Live. I can't see your faces, but I imagine some of you are there. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in to the Zoom universe. You guys all have a wonderful night. Erin, Jess, Steak Jake, Pete, Megan, Avanda, Alessandra, Lauren. It was so good to see all of you.
Thank you.
And see you all very, very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Molly.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.